The boss is back. John Cena has snuck his way into the main event of SummerSlam, and WWE just can't help but put a title on someone so they can lose. More often than not, a lot. I'm Rick Ucchino, back here again for Sportskeeda Wrestling. Got a lot to talk about this week. First things first, you know what to do. Click the button, subscribe to the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel for more content like this, plus exclusive interviews and so much more. I have a ton up on the YouTube channel right now. 5 exclusive interviews in the last week. Check them out. Now, we got a lot to get into. Let's dive into it. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly from this week's Friday Night SmackDown.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
We start always with the good. Your 2 big title matches are set. Roman Reigns against John Cena for the Universal Championship, and while it's not officially official, the boss is back. It's going to be Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's Championship at SummerSlam. To their credit, WWE gave us some swerves along the road to get there, and both were executed very well, even if one does not make a whole lot of sense, and we will get there. Let's start with the boss's return. For the first time since WrestleMania week, she arrived last night on SmackDown to save Bianca Belair from a 2-on-1 beatdown from Zelina Vega and Carmella, and then gave the champ a big old hug, and the crowd lost their minds. Major pop for the boss last night. Confused look from Bianca Belair. Obviously, still some distrust there, and for good reason. This all set up the main event of SmackDown last night. Bianca and Sasha versus Carmella and Zelina, and my God, the cohesiveness between the boss and the EST was off the charts. They looked like they had been tagging with each other for years. It really helped sell the fact that Sasha was back to sell this sisterhood, this relationship that they had built with one another after the history they made at WrestleMania. It made for a great story, and you really bought into it, especially after they won the main event. That was until you looked down at the clock and realized, oh, we got 5 minutes left. Something's about to go down, and what went down was a backstabber. The perfect move and the perfect name for a move for the moment. Sasha would then lock in the bank statement, and Bianca is screaming and tapping, and the boss is letting her go and holding up that championship high to close out the show. The perfect setup for what I believe is the right call heading into SummerSlam here. Everything considered, running back that WrestleMania match. Yeah, there's for how they're setting up SummerSlam, there really isn't a bigger match to be made. The question continues to be, though, where is Becky Lynch, and how does she fit in to this ever-changing landscape that is the WWE Women's Division? We're starting to hear those Becky chants every week now. Fans are growing restless. She will return when she's ready, but man, are the fans ready to see the man. And I have a feeling she would be back already had it not been for Bayley's injury. So again, going to be very interesting to see when they bring her back, how they bring her back, and who her first big matchup is going to be when she does finally come back around. So prior to the show getting underway last night, WWE announced that Finn Balor and Roman Reigns were going to have a SummerSlam contract signing for their match for the Universal Championship, and my initial reaction was,
I don't believe you.
And I and many others were right with our suspicions, but they did a hell of a job of making you think Balor was going to sign that contract until Baron Corbin showed up to try and steal the opportunity. Now, I'm not a huge fan of this new Baron Corbin angle with, him being broke and having erectile dysfunction now and this, that, and the other thing. I don't find it entertaining, but this was a great use of Baron Corbin as he was trying to take matters into his own hands instead of asking for help and take back his career and turn things around. My dude Corbin yeeted that poor man Finn Balor into the timekeeper's area, tried to sign his name onto the contract, get that big payday for himself, and then John Cena, because of course, returns to save the day, and then immediately afterwards pulls the biggest heel move in the book. He steals Finn Balor's opportunity and signs his own name on the contract. Officially official, John Cena, Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship at SummerSlam. Now, how is this legal, you may be asking? Well, the simple answer is it's not.
Makes perfect sense.
That's not how contracts work, but clearly Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville were so giddy over the fact that they were getting Roman Reigns and John Cena at SummerSlam that they just said, screw it, we'll take it and we're gonna run with it. So this is definitely a preferential treatment angle at its finest. If anybody other than John Cena had signed their name on that contract, this match would not be going down. They would have had some kind of other angle, but because it's Cena, the authority here is gonna look the other way.
Nice.
Now this does suck for Finn Balor, whom everybody was hoping was going to get a main event level push now that he was back on SmackDown, and he may still in the long run, but he just went from the main event of SummerSlam to feuding with Baron Corbin and possibly not even making the biggest party of the summer altogether. Yeah, that's a big fall, and it sucks. Moving on to the bad now, WWE. Man, they just cannot help themselves. They love booking their champions to lose. We have seen it countless times in the last few weeks, and several times this week alone. Nikki ASH and Sheamus on Monday. Last night, Jimmy Uso and Apollo Crews. Now, Jimmy's loss to Rey Mysterio is forgivable because there's a story there with the Usos cheating last week and Dominic giving them a taste of their own medicine and helping his dad win this week, but this is far from a rare occurrence and only helps compound the bigger problem. As for Apollo, he lost to Shinsuke Nakamura in a six-man tag match where Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode were his partners. Not a knock on those boys. Love them both. Talked to Dolph last week, one of my favorite interviews of all time. Check it out on the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel. But either one of those guys could have taken and should have taken the L here. They are clearly setting up Nakamura for an IC title shot, which he should get. He's over as hell right now and is rolling inside the ring. But you have a bevy of other guys who should be in the IC title picture as well. Cesaro, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Big E until he's ready to cash in, Otis, who has just been mowing dudes down as of late, Finn Balor obviously should be in that mix now that he's been screwed over by Baron Corbin, another name that I will throw into the mix of contenders here. Whatever happened to the good old days of two dudes or two ladies who want a shot, fight each other for the opportunity to get said shot? We used to call those #1 contenders matches. Maybe WWE should pay a little bit more attention to AEW because their system is a million times better. That's right, I said it. Fight me, nerds. Come on. I do feel for Apollo Crews here. Dude was heavily pushed during the Thunderdome era, and the spotlight has clearly gone away with now the crowds returning. I think the writing is on the wall. We're going to have a new Intercontinental Champion here in the very near future. If you're going to make somebody else, Shinsuke Nakamura is not a bad option. And finally, the ugly this week. Granted, I take every mysterious absence with a grain of salt in the world that we live in today, but there were some stars who were missing this week that really rubbed me the wrong way. No Liv Morgan, no Toni Storm. You hype up Toni for weeks. She wins a quick match against Zelina Vega last week in Cleveland, and then we don't get a follow-up this week. Not a promo, not a backstage segment, nothing. Also, for the second week in a row, WWE actively chose to keep Liv Morgan on the bench. She was the primary focus of the SmackDown Women's Division heading into Money in the Bank. She was getting huge pops, massively over Liv Morgan was heading into Money in the Bank. They wanted her to win that contract. They decided to go another direction, give it to Nikki ASH, but WWE, instead of following up on that, they hear those massive pops and decide, yeah, let's keep her off TV. Let's not capitalize on this right away.
What?
I know it's only been 2 weeks. I'm trying to stay calm. I know it's only been 2 weeks. I know the big match at SummerSlam is Sasha and Bianca, but considering that they have been on again and off again and on again and off again with Liv Morgan throughout her entire main roster run, this really irks me that they're deciding to do this again and have zero follow-up with her showing at Money in the Bank where the crowd was clearly behind her. It is a 2-hour show. I get it. It's hard to get everybody on every week, but you stacked this women's division on SmackDown for a reason. You gotta find a way to get these girls on the program. We don't need a 24/7 title match. Jam that stuff into Raw's 3 hours all you like. What we need on SmackDown is more Toni Storm, more Shotzi and Knox, heck, more Kevin Owens, more Sami Zayn, and we damn sure want to watch more Liv Morgan. That's our video this time around. Make sure to give us the old thumbs up there. Also, again, make sure to subscribe to the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel for more content like this, plus exclusive interviews. I got a ton up right now. Dolph Ziggler, Big E, Natalya, Nikki ASH, and Carmella. Go check them all out, and come back next week as we break down another episode of Friday Night SmackDown.